Hey everyone, welcome back to the homestead. If you guys are new here, my name is Nadine and I live in Southwest Pennsylvania with my husband and 3 boys. And I have turned our little 2/3 of an acre property into a functioning homestead. The last couple videos that I posted up here were from earlier this spring. It's now end of July. Life just kind of got busy. My son broke his arm and we had some birthdays and some vacations and traveling and just stuff. And I realized that I haven't done an update on my garden or kind of what's going on around here. So I wanted to do that with you guys today. I want to take you in the garden, kind of show you what's going on with my garden this year and just give you guys an update. Alrighty, so here is the garden. As you can see, everything has grown really nicely. There's some things that we've changed, so they'll probably look a little bit different than the last time you guys saw the garden. This fence didn't used to be here. This used to just be chicken wire, but I had the problem of my dog getting underneath the chicken wire into my garden and running through all of the beds. So we made the decision to move this fence. It was back there, so you can see the remnants of what's left. That panel needs to come out yet. And so we moved it from this back part of the garden to here. So I now have a gate here to get into it, and the fence is a solid fence all the way down. And we moved the big gate to here temporarily so that the doggos, hi buddy, cannot get into my garden. This left a sort of temporary problem with the back side of my garden. So the back here, my grapes were growing on the fence, so they're just on the ground for right now. I do have some trellises that need to go up, so you'll see those in a video soon. So the grapes are just hanging out on the ground. The other problem is the back side of my garden isn't fenced in anymore. Before, there used to be like a barrier all the way around to keep critters out of my garden. So I've seen a couple rabbits back here. Hopefully I haven't had any like real damage done by them. So I think they're just in here nibbling on the weeds that are back in the orchard area or just passing through. So that's really good. But I do want to get this kind of buttoned up so that we don't have pest problems in the future. So eventually we'll have a solid fence line around the back part of the orchard here, so the trees are protected. It's going to connect into the greenhouse, which is still in the works. And then this corner here, again, will connect into the greenhouse and there won't be any access into the garden. So let me show you the garden itself, kind of how everything's doing, some things that we've been dealing with this year. And just like I said, generally give you an update on how my garden is this year. So first up, we have the elderberries, which are absolutely huge. They flowered earlier this spring and they are producing berries for me. So I'm very excited to have some elderberries this year. We'll get to dehydrate those and make our own elderberry syrups and maybe some gummies for the kids and so on. Next we have my potatoes. The potatoes have flowered and they're all dying back, so they are ready for harvesting. So I'll be making a video on how to harvest and store your potatoes. So that'll be coming up soon. These are all potatoes as well, so those all need pulled out and harvested. Here is our tomatoes. So I did make a video on these custom tomato trellises that I did. They've been working out really, really well until I get to the top. I need about 3 more feet to tie up the tops of these indeterminate tomatoes. But overall, it is doing really well. I have some coming into ripeness that I need to pick so I can make some spaghetti sauce. Our pumpkins did really well. We planted some pie pumpkins, so these are getting really close to harvesting time. We did some ornamental gourds over here, some little white baby boo pumpkins. These are the herbs. I kind of slacked in the herbs department this year. Sometimes you get really ambitious and kind of get ahead of yourself. I am still learning so much about gardening that I really don't know what to do with fresh herbs. So that's something I need to learn a little bit more about for next year. A lot of these herbs went to seed before I could even harvest them. So right now they're just attracting pollinators and smelling really nice in my garden. Next up is the lettuce. Again, a lot of my lettuce has gone to bolting, and I've been using it for the rabbits and the chickens. The onions are doing great, so they're gonna be getting ready to harvest very soon. The crookneck squash have done really well this year. I also have, I don't think this has any more fruit on it. Oh, there's one over there. This is acorn squash. It's done really well. Swiss chard. This is the cauliflower. We've got a couple heads coming in of the cauliflower. These are hot pepperoncini peppers. So some of these are ready to come off as well. Behind me are some calendula flowers. Again, I do believe these are a medicinal flower. I'm not 100% sure what to do with them, so I've just been cutting them and enjoying them in my house, and they've just been attracting some wonderful pollinators for the rest of my garden. Some of my broccoli has gone to seed. We're growing some celery. My pickles did really well earlier in the season. As soon as it got hot, we had a really hot spell come through here. They kind of all wilted, and that was the end of it. So I need to pull all of those out and replant to hopefully get a fall harvest from my cucumbers. These vines here are spaghetti squash. I've already harvested quite a few of these, but as you can see, we still have some in production in various places on the vine. It's done very well this year. There's another one there. Behind it we have the red cherry tomatoes, and over there we have the yellow cherry tomatoes. On the other side of this bed we have our green beans that are finally just starting to come in. So some of these are ready for picking. We'll have to get on that. And then these are my green peppers. Some of them are doing okay, but most of them, we had a big rainstorm a couple nights ago and it took out all of my corn, but it's doing really well as well. Back here is another tomato, again doing really well on the DIY trellises. They're just not tall enough, so I'm having a lot of just hangover from the top of this. So I think what I need to do is do like a 12-foot T-post and run wire all the way to the top of the trellis there to give the tomatoes more height. Indeterminate tomatoes will just continue to grow. There's really no cap to how tall they get, whereas determinate tomatoes only grow to a certain height, and that's the end of them. So adding that extra height for the indeterminate tomatoes will, one, lengthen your growing season with them, and you'll get more fruit because they continue to grow and continue to produce. On the other side of these tomatoes here, we have the cantaloupe. We've got quite a few of those growing on here. They're doing really well. Some done in the garden here. Again, onions are doing great. Some of them are getting ready to pull out of here. Zinnias came in nice. Over here, I did grow some sugar baby watermelons, but they just did not do well this year. All of the vines have died off, And so I think I just need to pull them out of here. These are all of the radishes. They are, let me pull one out. They are starting to form and get ready to harvest. More zinnias. And then these were sugar snap peas. I've already harvested all of the sugar snap peas off of here with the exception of a few pods that got forgotten or missed. They need to be pulled out, and I think I can get a fall harvest from them. So I need to pull those out and get them replanted pretty quickly here. These are more peppers. And then these are the last of my tomatoes. These are the San Marzano. The ones up there that I showed you first are the Italian heirloom. And then the ones down here are the black plum tomatoes. But they have a ton of fruit on them. I am super excited to have some tomatoes for spaghetti making. I absolutely love making homemade spaghetti sauce, so that's really exciting. Around the other side of the San Marzano, we have a zucchini plant. It's done really well. I pulled quite a few zucchinis off. We got a couple more coming in. Cabbage got annihilated by cabbage worms, so we've just been giving it to the chickens. They've loved it as a nice treat. And then over here, we've got some banana peppers that are ready for harvesting here. We've got some more bell peppers coming in. And that's about it for my garden this year. We have been dealing with some issues. Last year was a really, really great gardening season. The rain was really consistent, temperatures were really consistent. This year has been all over the place. We've had 90-degree days, followed by 50-degree days, followed by, 70-degree days. Rain has been very little. And when we do get rain, it's like torrential downpours, and it's in bucket loads. And so all of those inconsistencies have caused some issues in our garden that I'm dealing with this year. Pests have been really heavy. We've been dealing with cabbage worms, squash beetles, and I had aphids earlier this year as well. So we've been dealing with a lot of those issues. I am dealing right now with some bottom end rot with my tomatoes, specifically with my black plum tomatoes. So it hasn't been the perfect gardening season that I hoped and dreamed of. We've had some issues, but you'll have that sometimes. Not everything plays out according to our plans, and you just kind of got to roll with it and do the best that you can. So some things to look forward to in the next coming weeks. I'm going to be doing a video on the pests, how we've been dealing with that. I'm going to be doing a video on some of the changes that we're doing in the garden, such as the grape trellises. You'll be seeing a video for that. I'm going to be cleaning out this garden over here along the fence line. Has just been flowers and weeds with some random surviving raspberry plants. So I'm going to be pulling that garden out and possibly doing a no-till row along this fence line for next year for corn or pumpkins or stuff that needs more room than my raised garden beds can provide. So you can look forward to seeing that in the coming weeks as far as new videos go and content. I do have some other projects in the works, like the greenhouse. We're going to be working on that, and I have a feed room project that I want to be putting together as well, and hopefully kind of get all of those buttoned up before winter hits. And that way, we've got all of these loose projects kind of finished before the next season is underway. But yeah, that kind of gives you guys an update on how the garden is doing. Kind of where I've been the last few weeks. I know a lot of the videos that I just posted are of earlier this season, so I wanted to get back in here and give you guys some current content on what's going on, how things are doing, and kind of what we've been dealing with. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I always love hearing from you guys and interacting with you. And then, yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to grow where you're planted.